welcome to Kayla's World. I'm Kayla Canoe, author, YouTuber, gamer, and aerialist. And today's video is going to be an original tag created by yours truly, and it's going to be an outlining tag. So I did do a brief search to see if this already existed, and I did not find anything. If there is something out there, my bad, I didn't know, but this is going to be my own original tag. I've never done one of these ones before. There's gonna be 10 questions. I will have them listed below for you guys, so that way if you'd like to do the tag as well, you can. But yeah, we're just gonna get right on into it, and I'm going to start with question number 1, which says, there are many things to think about when outlining an entire novel. So where do you start? So for me, I actually start with characters. My stories are character driven. Everything for me is about the characters and what they're going through and their emotions. I am a character writer. So it would make sense that when I start my outline or my outlining process, that I would start by outlining characters, in which I generally pick out the main characters. Generally there's romance, so that's usually where I start, with my two characters and their backstories and what they look like, and how that interaction is going to play out between them, love interest and all that stuff. But yeah, so that is where I start when it comes to my outlining process. Question number 2, how much outlining do you do before you start writing? Yeah, so that is kind of a tough question for me, because I actually do a double outlining process thing where I kind of do a very simple overview outline where I'll have like where it starts, where it ends, maybe the inciting incident, maybe like the all is lost moment, climax stuff. I'll have some of those big key points kind of front to end sort of outline, like a little mini outline. But then I will kind of almost free write that draft 0 or first draft. And then after I write that, because like me writing that is part of my inspiration for getting scene ideas almost, after that I will do a full outline. Yeah, I'll do a full outline after that, before writing the second draft, which is really more or less a first draft, because from draft 0 to draft 1 I add like 50,000 words. So yeah, I would say that I do some outlining before I start writing, but not like full hardcore detail outlining. I do generally do a lot of the world building and character profile stuff before starting the 0 draft. Yeah. Question number 3, do you outline all of your books the same way? I'm gonna have to say no, because there's so much time between outlining that I don't remember how I did it the time before. And honestly, because I'm writing a series, like I had to do a lot of work on the world before the first book, but I don't really need to do all that world building and outlining before the second book. And if anything, I think I may have kind of wrote the second book without a small outline. So yeah, I definitely do not outline exactly the same for all of my books in the same series, or even just for different projects, because I have done some different projects at the same time. Question number 4, describe what your outlining process looks like. And I did do a little bit of this in one of the previous questions, but generally I start with the characters and pick my characters, and then I do some world building because I'm a fantasy author and I like magic and all that stuff. So I do some world building and map drawing and that kind of stuff. And then I'll do like a simple high level plot points, start end type of outline, and then I'll do like a first draft, and then I will do a full all the story beats outline, which you guys can actually see on the wall behind me. There's one of the books right here. This other book kind of has like the partials on it, like Those big green ones are kind of like the big plot points. So that's almost like the mini outline versus like the full detailed outline. So yeah, and then with my full outline or re-outline, because I outline and then draft and then re-outline and then redraft to kind of get that whole first draft of the book. But yeah, so that's kind of what my outlining process looks like. Let's move on. Question number 5. What is the hardest part of the outlining process? Oh, so I feel like that kind of depends on the book. Because I feel like for my fantasy intertwined series, all of the world building was pretty easy because it wasn't really based off of anything in particular. It was all kind of like self-created world stuff. But my sci-fi-ish series that I started last year around during NaNoWriMo, when I was outlining it, I actually had to do some research on space. Yeah, so I had to do some space research just to get like ideas for things for the world building, because it was less of like world building on like on a planet, and like it was more of building mini worlds in space. So I actually had to do a lot of research for that, and I think that made it a lot harder for me. Anything that requires research makes it harder for me because I am not good at finding information on the internet. Yeah. Question number 6. What is the easiest part of the outlining process? And yeah, surprise, surprise, it's the characters. I feel like there's a theme here. For me, the easy part is coming up with the characters. Generally, I don't have a problem with coming up with names or determining names. Occasionally, there's a little bit of naming issues, but for the most part, coming up with the character, the main character specifically, and what they're going to be like, what their backstory is going to be, and what struggles they're about to go through in the book or the story or the series, that is the easy part for me. I am all about, this is my character, this is what they're like, and this is what they're going to do, or this is how they're going to evolve kind of thing. You know, their motivations and needs and such. That is definitely the easiest part for me. Question number 7. Advice for a newbie. What do you know about outlining that you wish you had known as a newbie? Okay, this might sound a little contradictory, but creating character profiles, like more detailed character profiles, because yeah, I definitely didn't do that starting out. Like, I think I had like the couple of main characters like information written down, but even like the supporting characters and like the family and like all that information, like you really want to write that down and like come up with names ahead of time. Like, I actually like come up with like lists of names for potential beings of different genders for the different areas of my world, because the different areas have different cultures and have different sounding names somewhat. So I have like a whole list of unused names that I have not used yet. So that way, like while I'm writing, if I need a name for a side character, I could just pick one off the list and cross it off the list and use it. But also like add it to your character profile list, because I'm pretty sure halfway through my book I changed one of my main character's eye colors and didn't realize it. In fact, I'm not even sure right now what color his eyes are anymore. Yeah. I have it written down. I do have it written down now. So, yeah. I think they're green. But I think they were originally blue. So, you know. Have character profiles. Reference your character profiles. They are your friend. Oh, gosh. Question number 8. What do you include in your outlining process now that you didn't when you first started? So this one really does tie into that last one. Something that I include in my process now that I didn't when I first started, that I wish I had really known about, is one, having a list of names to use for side characters when I go to write, and two, making sure that I make those character profiles. I both have like stuff all over my wall with character profiles and information that I can just physically glance at real quick while I'm writing, but I also have like a whole Scrivener file that has like a breakdown of all kinds of world building information, all the different race information, all the different characters and all their names, and like basic stats on them, even so that, you know, in chapter 1 she doesn't have long black hair, and in, you know, chapter 7 she's got short blonde hair because I forgot what she looked like. You know what I mean? But yeah, that is something that I include now that I did not before. Because before I was like, yes, I have my character. I love my character. I'm never gonna forget the information about my character. And then I do. So, you know, it happens when you're writing a whole novel. You really need the reference material to look back at. Where are we? Question number 9. Do you stick to your outline while writing? And if not, how do you adjust your outline to accommodate direction changes? Oh, so I kind of have a double answered question, or a dual sided answer to this question. In general, yes, I stick to my outline, as in the start and finish stay the same. So I generally always know where the novel's starting and where the novel's ending and where I want it to end. And it may not be like a specific scene, but it's a general, this is where the book needs to end. And that's because I have a generalized series like outline. So I know that I know where my book cutoffs are. So I know where the start and end is. That being said, a lot of times when I'm writing, it doesn't stay the same. Sometimes I like completely change scenes, completely throw out scenes, add in new scenes that weren't on the outline as I write. A little bit of a discovery writer in that sense of doing the baby outline and then writing and then doing a full outline. And even after doing a full outline, full detailed outline, I'll go back and find that there are scenes on this board that I didn't write or I changed significantly. But in order to kind of adjust, is that I always have like that ending in mind. So even if I don't do all of the exact same scenes that I outlined, I still know where I'm ending, and I make sure that like I don't let myself get so far off track that like my ending is in a completely different place because I kind of fell off the outline train. I more or less take pit stops off the outline train before coming back onto it, if that makes any sense to you guys. Okay, last question. Question number 10. How important is outlining in regards to your writing process? So, is it important to you? Is it? I would say that outlining is definitely extremely important. Even like when I throw stuff out or change things halfway through, outlining really is a great way to, one, make sure that I'm starting and ending where I want to start and end, but it's just also a great way to make sure that I'm hitting like the key story beats, like this key highlights and like the story formula. And it's also really important just for like, it really helps for writing and reaching writing goals, like for me, because if I know what scenes I'm supposed to be writing, I'll just pull them off the board and put them on my desk, and those are the scenes that I'm writing that day, and then I put them back on the board and I go to the next ones and continue all the way through. So at least I have a plan, and I think having that plan, even if it changes along the way, gives me that guidance to still have the motivation to keep writing, and to just kind of know where I'm going, so that I'm not spending a lot of time, like a lot of my writing session time, trying to figure out what to write, because I already know yeah, so outlining is hugely important to me. I made a whole tag about it. So yeah, outlining is a big deal for me. I know there are people who don't outline at all, but I feel like we all do some planning, or at least somehow keep track of our information, or we should, in order to make our books better and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so that was it. That was my outlining tag, the original version created by me. Um, I'm super excited about it. And as far as tagging, you are all tagged. If you see this video and you want to do the tag, please do. And please tag me in it so that I can see that you did it. And yeah, I'm real excited to see what you guys have to say about this. If you like these types of videos, let me know by commenting below, giving this video a thumbs up, or subscribing to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays, and I host live streams on Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you guys didn't know, Preptober is coming up really soon, and I am in charge of a NaNoWriMo dedicated server, and that means that we're going to be hosting lots of live streams and writing sprints and events in October for Preptober, as well as in November for NaNoWriMo. So if you guys are interested in learning more about that, you can join our Discord. There's a link below. Yeah, but that is what I have for you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed your time here in Kayla's World.